and welcome to the VickyCharles.com podcast, for those of us who need just a little help with our blogging and social media. The show notes for this and all previous podcasts can be found at VickyCharles.com/podcast. And at the moment, I'm giving out free social media tips. Just go to VickyCharles.com/social-tips and fill in your details, and then I'll email you 3 personalised action points for your social media. You can also sign up there for my mailing list. This week's episode, number 59, is all about Facebook's algorithms. So welcome to episode number 59 of the VickyCharles.com podcast. This week's episode is all about Facebook's algorithms, just to give you a little bit more detail about how they work and how you can make them work for you, basically. So the first, probably the only actually thing that you need to know about Facebook's algorithms, and the one thing that I tell everybody, all of my clients, that you really do just need to know, it's the one thing I think that's the most important thing certainly, is that Facebook's algorithms don't care what you are doing as a content creator. As a page owner or as a personal account, Facebook's algorithms really do not care. They're not geared towards you. People say, oh, Facebook's algorithms penalise business owners and that's why I use my personal page. That's a load of rubbish. They don't penalise every business page. What they penalise is poor quality content, including advertorial content, stuff where you're just trying to push your product on people. That's what they penalise, and they don't penalise that so much as just kind of prioritise other things over the top of you. Because what the algorithms really work towards is making sure that the guy at the end, the one that's using their mobile phone, and they're always on their mobile phone, 90% I think of Facebook users use Facebook on their mobile phone. Facebook wants to make sure that that person on their mobile phone scrolling through their newsfeed just sees exactly what they want to see. They don't see anything they don't want to see. Everything entertains them or enthralls them or intrigues them or whatever. They like, share and comment on the lot of it, and they never ever leave Facebook. That is what Facebook is working towards, and that is what we all need to bear in mind as content creators when we create content for our Facebook pages. So when you're creating content, what you want to aim for, what you need to always aim for, is to create content that matters to your target audience, that engages them, that you think they're going to be interested in. And how do you do that? You measure everything against one simple test. Before you post anything on Facebook, you have a look at it and you think, if I saw that in my newsfeed, would I like it? Would I comment on it? Would I share it? If the answer to that is no, don't post it, because if you wouldn't comment on it, why would anybody else? If you wouldn't share it, why would anybody else? That's probably the most important thing that you can take away from this podcast today, is that you really, the algorithms aren't against you, they're just for the end user. And if your product or if the stuff that you're creating on Facebook is not also for the end user, it's not going to be seen. So the first tip about Facebook's algorithms is that the newsfeed prioritizes topics based on how long a user spends looking at that topic or similar content. So, for example, say if you like Britney Spears and you spend a lot of time reading articles about Britney Spears, watching videos of Britney Spears, liking pictures of Britney Spears, it sees that topic and it goes, oh, we'll show you more Britney Spears, and tomorrow we're going to show you, who's that lady with the hot pants and the boots? I'm not very good at 90s poplet starlet people, but so that was probably a bad example, but you know what I mean. It gives you similar content. It looks at the time you spend reading or watching and sees that as a marker of whether you find that content important or interesting, and it uses that then to predict what other content you're likely to want to see. So I guess a better example would be, if you always like pictures of little fluffy cats, it's going to show you more pictures of little fluffy cats. It's going to show you articles about little fluffy cats, all of that side of things. The second thing to bear in mind is that they're trying to make the newsfeed more diverse. What it means is it wants to include not just links to the same sites. So it's not only going to include links to Huffington Post, which is good because I don't click links from the Huffington Post because they don't pay any of their writers. They want to include links to as many different sites as possible, so that it's not kind of only ever showing you one side of the story or showing you one point of view or one website kind of thing. So it doesn't, it wants to be a lot more broad and diverse, which is great for an end user because you're not always clicking on links to the same website all the time. It's going to show you a different variety of things. So the most important thing you can do is make sure that you have authorship set up, so that if you have written something on maybe on Medium or anywhere else, and on your own website, on your own blog, that your authorship will show through. So as soon as I finish recording this podcast, my job is to go onto the BritMums website and make sure, because I'm an editor on BritMums, that my profile has a link, an authorship link back to me, or my Single Mother Ahoy page, so that people know that it's me that's written it. Wherever it is shared on Facebook, it will come back to me in theory. So what you can do for somebody who runs a page, don't only share links to the same website, whether that is your blog or the BBC News website, wherever. Make sure that you are posting links from a diverse set of websites, lots of different websites, as many different websites as you can, really. And if you are posting content, try and get your content onto different websites. So I'm not going to suggest the Huffington Post because they don't pay their writers. If you're a parent blogger, you might go on, post something on Mumsnet. You might post on Medium, on LinkedIn, wherever. Try and post in as many different places as possible, and then you're still sharing links to your own work, but not only to the same website every time. The third thing that you need to bear in mind about the Facebook algorithms is that it learns that you like a type of content. So I've seen this happen actually, and it does it with groups as well. So if you are always liking and commenting on posts from a certain group, it will show you more of those in your newsfeed. If you're always liking and commenting on videos, it will show you more videos. So what does that mean for somebody who's creating content? It means that you need to diversify your type of content, because you might have a third of your audience really loves videos and a third of your audience really loves photos. But if you're only posting text, then 2/3 of your audience are probably not going to see what you've posted, because Facebook is only showing them, respectively, videos and photos. So I always tell people to post, quite often, a few times each day. It's different for each page, and that's something you need to figure out yourself. But I would say, if you're really aiming to hit as many people as possible, then do at least 4 updates a day, and they should be one text one, a photo one, a video, and a link each day. So you're hitting each different kind of person. And when I say a video, I don't mean a link to a YouTube video, because that would be then a link and not a video. You would need to natively upload it into Facebook. And I would say also, just as a little side note here, if you've got a YouTube channel and you post videos on YouTube, that's great, that's fantastic for people who use YouTube. I would not bother to share your links from YouTube over to your Facebook page. They're not really going to get any reach. There's not really much point. So what I would suggest doing is, once you've uploaded your video onto YouTube, upload that same video onto Facebook. And you might think, but then nobody will go to my YouTube page. Well, they might not, but it's how many people you want to see your video, basically. You're never going to drag people from Facebook to YouTube, because Facebook doesn't want people to be dragged from Facebook to YouTube. So what you need to do is, if you want more people to see your video and you've got a following on Facebook, post it on Facebook too. Anyway, that's a side note, I digress. So those were kind of 3 tips to help you with the Facebook algorithms. This is quite a short podcast today, I think, because there's not really a lot to say. Like I said, the main thing is to create content that matters to your target audience. I'm thinking in the future I might do a podcast about figuring out who your target audience is as well, actually. So do leave a comment in the show notes if that's something you're interested in. So on the whole, just bear in mind, before you post anything, I'll say it again, before you post anything, think to yourself, would I like that? Would I comment on that? Would I share it? And if the answer is no, don't bother posting it, because ain't nobody going to see it. Thank you so much for listening to the VickyCharles.com podcast. The show notes for this and all previous podcasts can be found at VickyCharles.com/podcast. And don't forget that at the moment I'm giving out free social media tips. So if you go to VickyCharles.com/social-tips and fill in your details, I will email you 3 personalised action points for your social media. You can also tick the box on that form and join my mailing list, where you will be sent a free download of social media tips. And you'll be on my mailing list, so you'll get loads of cool stuff sent to you. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back next week.